Hi, welcome to Two Non-Doctors. I'm Liz Mealy.
I'm Maria Shahada.
And we're going to do announcements because we're professionals. I feel like we have to tell it like before this starts, we're like announcements. And you're like, totally. And we're like, announcements. Totally.
Definitely going to do it.
Yeah. And then I'm just like, oh my God, let me tell you about my weekend.
I'm like, hi, girl, hi.
As always, subscribe. Our big announcement. We hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube.
We did it. You did it. We all did it.
You guys did it. You did it. We did almost nothing. We uploaded, you subscribed. Thank you for that. That's awesome. That's helps us. I don't know. It's like a big marker for YouTube. It'll help us in the long run eventually. So that was a big deal and we're grateful. So subscribe wherever you listen, subscribe on YouTube.
We want to thank all of our current patrons. They're still called patrons, even though the website's called Patreons. And it's fucking
I like calling
confusing.
them Patreons. I don't know why.
I get it. Well, anyway, thank you.
Sound like they go to a bar.
Those are also patrons.
I don't like it. Continue.
Anyway, thank you to all of our supporters.
And I completely forgot that we do shout outs if you give $65 or above. So let's do our shout outs. Thank you to Nora, Jay, Steven, and Krager. Thank you to everyone that gives to us. But that was the thing that we decided is when we'd give shout outs. So thank you.
You guys are the best. And
everyone's the best.
If you haven't rated and reviewed us, but you would like to rate and review us, kindly, iTunes or Stitcher. I think Stitcher is a little bit difficult. I think you have to do it on your laptop. It's a situation. But if you can be bothered, that would be very helpful. But iTunes, Stitchers, the reviews help us be seen and heard and loved and feel loved.
Yeah, you make us feel loved.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and all of that. Everything is Two Non-Doctors except for Instagram. It's Two Non-DRS.
Yeah.
We are on the Unpops Network. Sorry, I just wanted to fuck with you.
You know, someday we're going to be professional. I feel it. We're going to have a day where it just all comes together. Yeah. We even recorded later. I'm awake. I'm like,
oh, is that why you're all peppy?
Yeah, dude, every single episode you've been up for hours and I rolled out of bed 10 minutes before this started. Hence why my hair always looks like a disaster. I mean, I definitely still didn't do anything, but I'm awake. I've been awake for hours. I had breakfast. This is breakfast caffeine, Liz.
Genuinely, I feel bad sometimes because you're just like, all right.
Well,
your eyes aren't open yet.
I should at the very least be able to get up an hour before the show, but and I don't have any, I just can't. I don't know.
That's okay.
Oh, you said that so nicely. You're like, it's okay. We're all doing the best we can.
We've been doing fine, just as you being miserable or you being peppy.
Yeah. And the truth is my brain works slow, whether I'm well rested or not well rested. I still can't find
Exactly.
words
You just had an excuse then. So now we'll have to see what happens.
Now you'll know how broken my brain is. I want to tell you about my weekend.
All right.
I vacationed to 2020. I am so peppy. My shoulders are going. I don't think I like myself well rested.
In the last episode, I edited something out, but you were doing this with the shoulders. I edited out what was said, but then we just get a last bit of this. So it just looks out of nowhere.
It just looks like out of nowhere to me. Like all of a sudden I'm like Britney Spearsing it in the middle.
Like just a little flare from Liz for no reason.
I went to Providence, Rhode Island. One of my best friends from high school moved there a couple of years ago. She bought a house, and my other friend from high school quit her job and started working for herself, all within like a month of each other. I was kind of like, hey guys, I don't have a job. Can I join? It's funny. I've done shows in Providence before. They actually have some really cool street art, but this is like, my friend loves history, and she like took me around and like explained stuff, and she was like, George Washington slept in that house, and I'm like, I know George. Like it was I have to say it was really fun. We went to the Providence Zoo, which I don't know, do you have mixed feelings about the zoo now that you're older?
No, I've had the same feelings the whole time, which is I fucking hate the zoo.
Really?
I've never liked the zoo. Here's what happened, because the zoo was right next door to a water park. And so when we went to the zoo for school, it was like, it started to smell like that hay. And then the water park, like people were like, woo, in their bathing suits, just having a good time. And I was going towards that smelly animal hay.
I think you're an animal person, and I'm unsure how we became friends.
I mean, also that, animals in captivity is bad. Yeah,
well, that's the thing, is like, as a kid, I loved it. I was just like, oh, I love animals. Monkeys are crazy. But now it just seems like sadness. And then especially when you know how much space an elephant needs to feel okay. And then you see them in these, like, you know, I loved like the circus. Like we used to go to, like the circus would come into town every year. And I think I told the story on an earlier episode. My dad helped a bear when I was 9, and because he was the local vet, and we ended up getting free passes to the circus for like 5 years in a row. And I was like, my dad's a hero. He saved a bear. But like, and you know, we rode an elephant when we were like 8 or whatever. And now you look back and you're like, oh, those are like torture chambers, and they're like, they live these horrible lives. Like even when we were at the zoo. So so one of my friends that quit her job is a veterinarian. She's an equine vet, and now she's working for herself. And so we're standing in front of the elephants, and this elephant keeps lifting one of its legs and then putting it down, and would lift another leg for a little bit and then put it down, and then lift its other leg and put it down. And she was like, he's in pain. Like that's a very old elephant, and he's trying to relieve the pain. And she's like, I'm actually genuinely worried about the elephant. And
I was doing that when I was in heels at the wedding.
You get it.
I was in pain.
You get it.
Yeah.
You're a woman in captivity. This isn't your real life. You love sneakers.
Yeah.
See? Yeah. I mean, I can stand in heels. I cannot, like, once I have to start moving, the shelf life of fun gets dwindled every time I have to take a step in heels. But I can stand.
Right.
But once I start moving, you're taking literally minutes off my life and my enjoyment.
Totally. I'm in 100% agreement with you. So, okay. So I'm sorry. We were in Rhode Island.
It's okay. So then we go and see the giraffes, and there's this giraffe just going in these little circles. And I go, that looks like anxiety. Like that's what my brother's staying with me this week. And my brother, you know, has a lot of anxiety, and he paces in a circle. And I go, it looks like Sam. She goes, oh yeah, that's a sign of anxiety. Like he's worried. But like, that's the stuff that sucks, that like when you were a kid, you were like, this is the great, oh, we're seeing like elephants from Africa. And then now you look and you're like, this is a sad existence. Or the fact that we looked up, I was like, how long do elephants live in the wild? And it's 60 to 70 years. And then I looked up, how long do they live in captivity? 17. Like that's like, that kind of stuff breaks my goddamn heart. And like, you know, they have little posters, and they're like, well, you know, because of poachers, they would probably actually only live to 35 years. And I'm like, go fuck yourself. Like, at least they had a full 35 years and not this muted. But then my other friend made a really good point that like, because we see these animals and we have a connection to them, when they do have issues, people poaching them, then, you know, tigers being endangered, you know, what have you, we feel more of a connection to them because we've seen them close up. I mean, it makes me sad, but like a couple of animals live a muted life for others to be saved because we actually know who they are, seen them in real life, and give a fuck about them. But in general, I'm like, I've become pretty bummed out about zoos. I mean, I loved it, but also they make me sad. So my 2 friends that I stayed with, I've been friends with them since I was 14 years old. So we've known each other 20 years. And I cried the first night, and then Amanda cried the second night. And Ashley was like, why is Amanda crying? And I was telling her, and I was just like, I think we just all have to get it out of our system. Don't get me wrong. You'll cry tomorrow. And then we were all at lunch, and she brought up something about our family, and she started crying. She's like, fuck you, Liz. How'd you know that cry? And I was like, I know the rule of 3s. We're all going to cry at some point. And it was a great weekend. We had a bunch of fun, but I really started to realize that in general, long-term friendships don't look too different from long-term marriages. And like we had fights, and we had closure, and we know too much about each other, and we laugh so hard that we like fall out of our chairs. But I think in general, the older I get, with a lot of my friends, like I've been friends with you for over 15 years. I have my friend Danny that I've known since I was 10, but it does start to become like, oh, I get how this is work sometimes.
Yeah. Wow. That was one weekend.
It was one weekend, and we laughed, we cried, we argued, but it was good. So yeah, so it was about crying and elephants.
You can almost see like a movie with Melissa McCarthy in it.
I come in, I'm like, I'm gonna see my friends, and then
it's wine time.
That's the other thing, is they drink and I don't drink, so I'm just there eating like Cheetos, being like, you guys are getting sloppy. I was like, should I stop taking pictures?
As you have fucking cheese dust all over your face and shirt. Y'all are getting sloppy.
Yeah. And everything I have is orange. And I'm just like, this doesn't seem like a natural color. But at 2 a.m. when other people are drunk, I feel like is when I can eat garbage. I feel like they're hurting themselves. I should hurt myself. That's how I keep
solidarity. And I respect that about you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I just feel like I'm having one of those days where I feel like everything is against me. I know the world isn't against me. The world can't care about me enough to be against me.
The world is against the world right now.
Absolutely. But me. And so I just feel like, because I went to a store to return something, walked all the way there. This is Wednesday. They were closed. And every other day of the week it's open. It was crossed out too. It's not even like always closed on Wednesday. It was like they crossed it out and put like "fuck you, Maria" like written right above Wednesday. Anyway, and like there's all this noise upstairs, and like there was no noise for the past few hours. But as soon as I start a podcast, they start like vacuuming and hammering and fucking doing a do-si-do just above my head. Just
what if it was Morse code and it turned out to be "fuck you, Maria"? Like every time they drop something, they're like, she'll get the message that we don't like her.
I'd be a little flattered, to be honest, that they went through the trouble.
Yeah, because who knows Morse code? You really have to learn that. First of all, can I just say being closed on a Wednesday, that's not a thing. We all know you can be closed on the weekend and you can be closed on Monday. For some reason, Monday is a traditional we don't want to work day when it's a mom and pop shop. But there's no like we don't do hump day. That doesn't exist. Although the dueling perspective I'll give you is that they're having a bad day. That they were like, today's not my day.
Ooh, I
so
like that.
My way of sticking up for the mom and pop shop is the reason it's crossed out in like a magic marker is they were like, we're not doing today.
That makes me feel like bad. And I'm like, well, they get a pass from me then.
I'm sorry. I was going to quote what AJ said, but she hasn't come on yet.
Liz knows fucking future.
I know the future. Should we get into fan mail?
Yeah.
Okay. This one is actually just like a little fun fact. Okay. So this one is from Dylan. Dylan said a bunch of stuff of value, but you know us, Dylan, we have to focus. Okay. He goes, fun fact, about 49% of people will receive Botox after they die. I'm a mortician, and after death, the face can sometimes appear sunken or emaciated. We use what's called liquid tissue. It's essentially Botox distributed by a mortuary's chemical company to fill the lips and features in the face. Sorry, I can't read, Dylan. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of cool. Where it was like one of those things that like, you know, we kind of talked about how you were like, I'm fine doing it. And I was like, I would never. And then I die. And then I'm just like, I eat my words.
I wonder if when Joan Rivers died, they got a discount on that part. It's good. We're good. We don't have to do anything.
All of Hollywood has a little like, we've already done it. Like, sorry. Beat you to it. My face was 10 years ago. I mean, I want to be cremated. I actually don't want that to happen at all. And I find all that to be a waste of money. I know that's your job, Dylan. I should probably stop talking. You're a great fan. But it's just like,
you could probably buy a lovely urn from them.
Yeah, I'll buy, if you sell urns, I'll buy an urn.
You can have a cat urn.
So this is the thing. It's like my mom. So,
that
you know,
was a joke.
Cat urn?
You can have a cat on your urn, but then you're like, so this is the thing.
Oh, in my mind, I was thinking a cat urn, which is like, we have those like on our shelves, like all the cats that have died in our family, we have them in little urns, and we're like, that's Max and that's Sancho's. And then our dogs, like everything that's died has its own little urn. And they're very pretty. Yeah. So people's animals die, and then they ask, do you want us to cremate them, blah blah blah, and then you can either just get a bag of cremation and do what you want to do, or you can get a pretty urn or a box. Like there's also like wooden boxes or whatever. As somebody that collects a lot of cigar boxes, I really think just like take my bones, put them in some cigar boxes, and freak people out when they think they're gonna get cigars.
It's Liz Mealy.
I think I was raised wrong.
I mean, I love Dr. Terry, so I don't want to be like, yeah, but
my mom would be like, that's a great idea. We should recycle. We're just good people. And then I had that old joke from my special about how my mom wanted to be cremated, and then she found out that you can be a plant. And now my mom's like, I want to be a plant, which there are tons of those things where like your ashes get turned into a tree or something.
That's nuts. I don't want him to get much more crazy than that. I think let's stop at plant life.
Yeah, I would love for like my body to like
compacting it into a diamond or some shit.
Yeah, I don't want somebody to be like, this is my great aunt Liz. I forgot my name for a second.
Did you know? And this is there are some businesses where they'll take your loved one's skin if there's tattoos on their skin, and preserve that. Yeah. Yeah. You notice how much smaller you just got. It's like you're trying to get away from me as if I'm the one, it was my idea. Like, oh, do you know what I want?
It's a Kickstarter. Hear me out.
Kickstarter.
We shave your loved one's skin. No, it's not creepy. We're not going to put it on our own bodies. We're going to put it on your wall like it's art. And you could be like, that's my great Aunt Maria.
It's a talking piece.
What? First of all, no.
Do you want to just thank Dylan and just let's move on?
Yeah. Thank you, Dylan. Thank you for
Dylan.
listening. Thanks for that fun fact. I did genuinely. I love dark thoughts and facts and stuff. That was great. Okay, Google. Okay, so we have a guest Google this week. I'm so excited to introduce AJ Mendez. AJ, if you don't know, she's a former WWE wrestler. She has one of my favorite books called Crazy is My Superpower. She's killing it. Hi, AJ.
Hi.
AJ. How's your COVID going?
I feel like that's a hard question because you want, like, everyone's answer should be like the world's on fire. It's like, it's a miserable time, but there's also some really cool stuff happening. So I have to like be like, all right. And I
okay, do you want to get into your Google?
Yes. Okay, there's The Sims. We don't want to talk about The Sims. Cinnamon raisin bread, not interesting.
Moving right along.
What was the Google? Like how to make it, or is it a health food?
Not health. Oh God, I'm like 10 pounds heavier and it's all just carbs and I'm thriving. Cognitive behavioral therapy.
So what was the actual Google?
Like, cognitive behavioral therapy.
You just Googled cognitive behavioral therapy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Some people form it in a question, but yeah, you know, like Google's like, got it from here. Fine.
I want the entire internet to just tell me what this is. I have no direct questions about it.
What I think the thread was, I started EDMR, which is like eye desensitization movement therapy. It's something where like if you have to like control the way your eyes move, it's mostly for PTSD. And then I think that led me in a wormhole to CBT. I'm super interested in that because it's like the end goal is, well, I'm a big like therapy champion, but like CBT, the end goal is like you become your own therapist, which as a control freak is really exciting. Normally like with therapy, it's like you're very much in your feelings and it's like there is not like an end goal in sight. It's kind of like working through like that emotional process. But for some people, they're some people want like a more hands-on, like practical problem solving approach where it's not about like your emotions. It's just like, this is a burden. This is annoying. Like, how do I fix this? And people want answers. And so like, this feels like a way to get there. It's short term. You don't talk about your feelings. It's like, here's a problem. Like I have bad social anxiety. How do I fix this? They give you like steps to change the way you think, your cognitive process, and like study how you are thinking. You're thinking about the future and creating problems for yourself that don't exist. And then like, what do you say to yourself in that moment to stop that process? So it's like homework based and like a diary based. And then there's an end goal where like at 5 months, you reevaluate. It's very practical for people who want to like,
as somebody that likes lists, I feel like that's all of us. Like, I feel like
what happens if everybody gets into cognitive behavioral therapy and then therapists aren't needed anymore? Like, what do they do?
We all know there's always an endless list of problems. It starts out with, I don't want to scream at my roommate, and it goes into, why am I screaming in the first place? It continues forever. Yeah. What form of therapy do you do that cognitive is a revelation to you?
Because I'm bipolar, and so what I found that I was doing this on my own. I was taking more of like a practical approach without really realizing it. Whereas like talk therapy, I think is the greatest thing in the world. And I'm always just like, go if you can. But it's really, really expensive, and it's like hard to like get appointments, and insurance doesn't always cover it. So like that's not like always an option. So like there is for like the world. So I'm not always just like, yeah, go to therapy. I know it's not that easy for everyone. But I like the more like hands-on approach, and I was kind of doing it for like my depressive cycles without realizing it. Like I was kind of going, okay, this is a depressive cycle. Like, let's talk through it. Like, I know this isn't me. I know this is a thing. And it's like, I was kind of doing it and training myself on my own. And I realized that that's like actually a part of CBT, is to like, to identify like your unhelpful thoughts and like stop them before they become behaviors. So like when I would be like, I call them my dark days, my like depressive days, because they're super melodramatic. And like, they like that. They like, some days it's like, okay, you want to like sit in bed and cry, that's fine. I'll give you the day. Or it's just like recognizing it's outside of you. And like that, just that little bit of like separation is such a helpful way to get through it. And so like that's like a big proponent of CBT, is kind of separating yourself and your thoughts.
I think you should start charging people. I feel better already. I feel like we really did something.
I honestly did like take something from that. I was like, you're right. I can't just give myself the day to sit and cry. What's wrong with that? And just because I want to cry all day doesn't mean my life is over. Thanks, AJ.
Yeah. I mean, I think we should just give you all our Patreon money for that one. I think you earned it.
No, okay. So no, but it was good. But like,
I know where you'd be like, no. She's,
Hold
wait till she gets a certificate or something. That was awesome.
Thank you, ladies.
Definitely. Bye.
Bye.
I Googled, I was listening to podcasts. Good for you. I wanted to give the fans another reason to listen to us. Plus, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I've noticed that I've started listening to more podcasts. Like I very rarely, unless it's before a show, I very rarely listen to music. When I would be listening to music, I've just been listening to podcasts and audiobooks. So one source said that podcasts engage your brain, and that like it's it turns out I can't read my handwriting. So they put subjects.
I like how engaged your brain, but your handwriting somehow.
My hand has gotten so lazy, so I do so very little like actual handwritten stuff anymore that I'm just like, you get it, you get it, whatever, just scribbling, and then I don't get it. So like they did an MRI on people and had them listen to the moth, and their whole brain was like working. They said it was working much harder than the scientists even assumed they would be. Like it's not a passive activity. It increases your focus and your imagination, and you end up with better listening skills actually. But it's a whole sensory experience, and you're focused on what you're listening to, unlike music where you might wander off and your imagination might go listening to music. When you're listening to a podcast, generally you're immersed in it. And
which
so
I would think I would think it's similar to like listening to a teacher do a lecture and you're learning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And because a lot of podcasts are nonfiction, and you do a lot of learning as well. But even if you're listening to like The Moth is a storytelling podcast. So even if you're listening to stories, your imagination's going there. So the example they used was like, say you have 4 dogs and they're old, and then one of the dogs smells really bad. So now you're picturing 4 dogs, and then you get to imagine what kind of dogs you're picturing, and the one that smells bad, you're picturing how they smell. And so you're invoking like your nostril sense, whatever, sense of smell. Yeah, sure. But it did say that listening to podcasts for too long can backfire, because you do need some downtime for your brain to absorb the information you've been listening to. I think like your brain does need like 10 minutes of silence a day to like take in the information you've absorbed that day, which makes a lot of sense. Cause I remember getting into NYC, like the cabs in New York, you know how they started putting the TVs in the back of cabs that just came on immediately as soon as you sat in. It was so infuriating because I like being in the back of a cab. It's a really busy city and there's so much stimulus going on and there's so much around you. You get into the back of the cab and it's you and just one person who's not talking to you, which is brilliant. And you're just taking everything in, but like from afar and in silence. But then you have this thing blaring. Suddenly TVs are blaring information at you, and it's too much. And I realized how much I valued that silence when getting into a back of a cab.
Especially if you think about when you're getting back in the back of a cab, you just left a friend, you just left a gig, and or you want to prepare for what's about to happen. And when somebody throws a TV in your face, it's one thing to decide I'm going to open up Instagram. It's another thing for somebody to be like, here's 5 minutes from Jimmy Fallon last night. And you're like, I wouldn't watch that normally.
Yeah.
Why would I
shut up. Shut the fuck
up, Jimmy.
I do all of my best crying.
I specifically, this is like a weird memory that only came back right now because it's been so long since like, I feel like also that cab dynamic is different from a Lyft dynamic. This guy that I liked, this was 11 years ago, we were like hooking up, and then he basically was like, no, thank you. And I was leaving the no, thank you talk, and I get into a cab and I'm like, it was really one of those things where he was like, no, thank you. And I was like, oh, it's totally fine. It's totally fine. Of course, you don't want to do this anymore. I'm like right there with you. I'm totally fine with this. Yeah. But really in my head, I'm like, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. So I get in this cab, didn't even live that far. I just knew that I just didn't want to be walking down the street at 9 o'clock at night crying. So anyway, I get in the cab. I'm like, as soon as like my butt hits the seat, I start crying. And then, you know, you're trying to keep it silent because you're like, I'm sorry. And so then Sunday Kind of Love comes on, which I've always loved Etta James, and that song particularly, even though it's like a sad love song. And I literally like popped my head and I was like, can you turn it up? And he was like, of course, sweetheart. And I was like, thank you so much. And then he's singing along to it and I'm singing along to it. And he's like, are you okay? And I was like, I'm not, but this makes it better. Thank you so much. And it was just like this really nice, and it was, like I said, I wasn't that far from home. It was all of like a 5-minute cab ride, but it was like, I just literally had somebody I really like tell me like, I'm not interested anymore. And in my, a girl's mind where like you make out once and you're like, we're getting married. I think I was like 20 years old. And then this cab driver was super nice. And that's just a song that I just think is so beautiful. I know this sounds crazy, but just even being like, hey, can you just turn this up so I'm not alone with my sadness? And he was like, I got you. It's like those kind of moments where like, that's where I'm like, fuck those TVs. And even your phone. Like I've also learned, because it's so rare to be in the back of a car being driven around, because that's just, I don't even get in Ubers very often. I try to put down my phone. I'll ask if I can put down the window. I have some wind blowing my hair, and I just try to enjoy the chaos.
Dude,
of the
I live
city
for it.
Yeah. It makes me feel special.
What were we talking about though? What is all this about?
Yours is just about how podcasts.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Man, we really get off track. Should I do my Google?
Yeah, do it.
So my Google was brought up from our last episode. We're really starting to get intertwined together, because I said I got cupping therapy done. But I vaguely knew what it was. So my Google was, what is cupping therapy and what does it do? This is what's kind of fun about it. So it's an ancient form of alternative medicine, and it goes back to Egyptian, Chinese, and Middle Eastern culture. So pretty much your ancestors gave this to us. If you don't know anything about it, it's special cups that are put on your skin for a few minutes that create this suction. And the purpose is to help with pain, inflammation, blood flow, and then it can be relaxation and it's a type of deep tissue massage, which I didn't even know we were going to do our topic today. So I'm just kind of on.
To be fair, I think Egyptians were probably just trying to steal your youth.
That makes a lot of sense.
100% sinister.
Yeah, no, I could see that. They're just like, we're going to draw some cute things on the wall and we're going to take who you are. Okay, so basically what they do is they put a flammable substance. It could be alcohol, herbs, paper in a cup, and they set that on fire, and then they put it on your skin. And when it cools, it creates a suction, which will cause like redness and like a vacuum. And then your skin kind of rises. So it basically looks like a little pimple, like a big pimple, really. Under this kind of cup.
It rises? Ugh.
First of all, it doesn't look good when it's happening, because basically it looks like a bug is like fucking with you, because you'll see like people have a couple of, like I had 6 on my back. So it looks like kind of gross and weird. And then when you take it off, you have these big, like when I showed my back, it's like these giant blood blisters or like hickeys or whatever. This massage therapist has probably done this to me maybe 5 times, like on my legs, on my back, other areas. And I always feel about 20 to 30% better immediately afterwards. And within a day or two, I feel 100% better. Like it has always made things better. I have to say, like, not completely understanding it. It could even just be, what is that when it's in your head? Crap. What is that called?
Psychosomatic? Or
Not
is there a simpler word?
Like, when they give a sugar pill and say it's medicine and you're like, I feel better. Placebo. Thank you. It could be a placebo effect, but regardless, I always feel better and I look crazy wherever it's done. But like I said, increases blood circulation, relieve muscle tension, which can improve your overall blood flow, promote cell repair, and it can also help form new connective tissues. I also have bad handwriting, and create new blood vessels. So that was like that Google. I learned a lot from that Google.
So do you think hickeys are good for people?
Of course. We all know hickeys create new blood flow, which causes healing and unnecessary attachment to teenagers.
Suck on those necks, people.
Have you had a hickey past 15?
Yeah, it's embarrassing. Yeah, I have.
Yeah, okay. All right, we'll move on from there. Let's get personal.
Oh my God, haven't we already? Yes, yeah.
Okay, this is your question. You want to do it?
Oh, okay. What's your go-to karaoke song?
I hate karaoke. I don't
You set me up for that.
I did. Yeah, it was just like, I've probably done it maybe 4 or 5 times. I'll say this: when I did it in Japan, because it was such an event, and that's like their thing, and there was karaoke bars. It was like, I don't know. And I was with a big group of people. I feel like you really need to know everybody you do it with for it to be fun. And I feel like I was thrown in a lot of situations where I knew like one other person. But I will say early in my karaokeing, it was Creep by TLC, which I don't think is a great karaoke song. But I know all the words, and that's it's more about anxiety and comfort. But now it's anything by Mariah Carey, because I like to try to hit the high note.
Ballsy.
Well, you know what it is? I just like being stupid, where I'm just like, like so, when me and Hurry Kandabolo, when we would do the road together, we'd like drive to different cities, and I would get really tired. He doesn't know how to drive, so I would do all the driving, and he would always try to put on moody music, and I go, Hurry, I'm gonna crash the car. It's
seriously
8 a.m. Like I need like either like hip hop or like dance music, or like sometimes just like dumb pop, just something with a beat. I remember this so clearly. It was 2 years ago. We were going to different cities in Texas in a short amount of time. And he was like, can we do Mariah Carey? And we listened to Mariah Carey for 2 hours straight. And we were both like singing at the top of our lungs. And it was just really fun.
I love singing at the top of my lungs. So the thing is like, because in London, I don't drive. In New York, I don't really drive. And so in those cities, that gets just cut out. So karaoke is my only outlet, unfortunately, for everyone else. But like, I do miss singing at the top of my lungs and driving.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
Especially when you get caught, it's really funny. Like, I don't know if you've ever had that thing where you're just like super into a song and then you hit a stoplight and it's just somebody and you're just like, whatever, this is my bubble.
It's embarrassing for all but like 3 seconds, and it's like, oh, it's green, later.
Never see you again. Please don't memorize my license plate.
It's so embarrassing.
You're getting pulled over.
Yeah.
For having too much joy. But I also, if I do, I usually sing alone. So like even that moment with Hurry was like really fun. And then even when like I said, I feel safe with the people that I'm karaokeing with, that's where it's really fun for me. But I have to say, anything Mariah Carey and knowing that I'm going to sound atrocious is fun. So what is yours?
The thing is I'm really good at singing 1 Week by Bare Naked Ladies.
Do you get all the hip hop?
I get the really fast. Since I was a young girl, I was like, I'm going to learn all the words to this song and I'm going to sing them as fast as they do. Like I made it a point and I did. And then the other day we were doing like YouTube karaoke. I was like, put on 1 Week and I got them all. And I have to say, I was worried that, well, I mean, no, the lyrics are there, but I was worried it just came back. But I didn't even need the lyrics. But also, here's the thing about that song. I learned somewhere after its heyday and before I sang it last week, I learned that the lyrics were about a guy murdering his partner. What? And so, yeah, pay attention to the lyrics. I want to read them to you. And then as I'm singing them, I'm going, oh my God, whatever I had just said in the chorus was horrifying. Let me get the Bare Naked Ladies thing. The other thing is like, I always like to suggest Salt and Pepper. Salt and Pepper is like the one that just comes to my head, even though I don't want to sing it. Cause I know like if you try to sing Push It, it's really awkward. Cause it's not, there's not enough lyrics.
You're just grinding air.
Ow, Push It. It's like the whole song.
I made them because I'm a huge Salt and Pepper fan. It was like my first, especially Very Necessary was like my first album when I was like 9 or 10. Mm-hmm. But everybody knows this. When you think you know all the lyrics when you're singing it, and then you have to do it without their cue, and you sound crazy and you can't keep up. So I've made that mistake, and I never again.
Yeah,
maybe like What a Man.
You realize some are like not good for. I also like Punk Rock Girl by Dead Milkmen, but the problem with that one is that not enough people know it. And I think the real appeal of karaoke, if you're doing it in public at a bar, is to do like the heavy hitters, ones that everyone loves singing along to. Those are the ones that people rally behind. Like, yes, you're a hack for singing Sweet Caroline, but like what everyone's
somebody's got to do Journey. Somebody's got to do like Uptown Girl by Billy Joel. Like
now's not the time to be clever, right? Karaoke is not the clever time. And it's annoying because one of Johnny's flatmates, and like, I'm sorry if she listens to this, but it was annoying because she was like, well, I've never really done karaoke. And we were like, come on, we're all friends. It doesn't matter. The worse you are, the better it is. And she sang like Amy Winehouse perfectly. Anyway.
As somebody that has a sister that's an incredible singer, you do not want to do it with somebody that's talented.
It's irritating.
Karaoke is for people that should not be singing. You got these lyrics?
How can I help it if I think you're funny when you're mad, trying hard not to smile, though I feel bad? I'm the kind of guy who laughs at a funeral, can't understand what I mean, will you soon will. I have a tendency to, wear my mind on my sleeve. I have a history of taking off my shirt. It's been 1 week since you looked at me, threw your arms in the air and said you're crazy. 5 days since you tackled me. I've still got the rug birds on both my knees. I'm the kind of guy who laughs at a funeral, can't understand what I mean, but you soon will. It's like the creepiest.
It's creepy now.
3 days since the living room. What is going on in this living room?
Yeah.
And then at the end he says Birchmount Stadium, home of the Robbie. I read somewhere that's where he buried her. It's just so fucking. Does it sound creepier now that like it's through that lens?
Yeah. There's this song that was like really big like 8 years ago, and it turned out it was about a school shooting. It was about a kid like shooting up a school. All the other kids with the pumped up kicks.
Pumped up kicks. That's about
Yeah.
a school shooting?
Yeah, better run, outrun my bullets.
Oh,
sorry.
Oh my God, it's right there.
Yeah, sorry, that was really embarrassing because I don't like singing. But like I'm like literally obsessed with that song. And then like 2 years later, somebody was like, "That's about a school shooting," and I was like,
It's Outrun my bullets. What was that even? What about
Yeah.
Do you know the song like I'm blue, I will bleed, I will die, I will bleed, I will die?
I don't think I could hear that though.
You can't hear it. It just sounds like meow, 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 meow,
So
meow.
was that just about sadness? Is that just about? I guess
Yeah.
I probably knew it was about depression.
Bleeding and dying. I'm blue.
We did it.
Also obvious now. Did you know that WAP is about pussies?
The whole time. Okay, we need to move on to our. We have gone off the rails this episode. Should we get into our topic?
Yeah.
So our topic is massage therapy, which I did not know, even though my Google nailed it. So I personally only get massages when something's broken, like an injury from running. Even like a couple weeks ago when I said like I could not move my neck and I couldn't sleep at night, like I have to be broken to go do it. Is that what's your relationship to therapy?
I break myself to go do it. Like I'm like, go to yoga, you can have a massage. I love massages.
Do you do it just for relaxation? Do you like being touched? Like what's your motivation?
I guess like it is so relaxing, and I do get knots. I do get very tense, especially in my upper back neck area. I carry all of my stress in the shoulders and neck, and I don't like just being touched like this bullshit like when you get a manicure and like they're sort of just touching you for no reason. I don't like just being touched lightly. That creeps me out. But like just actual like deep tissue digging in, getting the knots, getting the pressure points, those kind of massages. I don't know enough about massages. Like I don't like physically know what's going on, but some people nail it and some people are doing nothing.
Because to me, from our friendship, because I think I went with you once in San Francisco. I think we just went to get massages, like a Thai massage or something. But like I don't know how to relax. And like I've learned now, because there's two people I went to get, like I call them medical massages. Like something's broken, please fix this. I think they're now called like sports massages or like maybe deep tissue. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But something is broken. I'm in pain. I'm going to go have somebody fix it. Like, I feel like I'm a car, and the only time I see the mechanic is because I'm like, we're out of service. But on your end, would you say you enjoy them most when you don't have tension, when you're like, I just want to do this for myself. Like, I just want to be relaxed.
I feel like to justify them, because they're so like indulgent, that I only get them now if I've hit my exercise goals for the week.
Okay.
Or it's not like I get them weekly, but if I've done enough exercise to warrant a massage. But yeah, I would like to, it's
a reward for you.
Like I remember when my ex-fiance came to LA, I had booked us massages because, he's coming off an 8-hour flight. No, it was 11 hour flight. And to me, that's the most fucking amazing thing. Like if somebody greeted me at the airport and was like, we're going to go get massages and then we're going to settle in, I would have been like, fuck yeah. Time to relax, time to because I've been sitting in that stupid chair for 11 hours.
Yeah.
I came out of my massage and he was sat in the lobby and like sitting in the lobby, and he never got it. So he was just waiting an hour after having been on a flight for that long.
I don't know this story.
Yeah, because he was uncomfortable, and I didn't know. I don't even consider it being a thing where somebody could be comfortable or uncomfortable. It's just like, who wouldn't want a massage?
Yeah,
and
I've gotten better. I've always had a problem with being touched by people like I don't know, and then like that's like a very intimate touch, is like, you know what I mean? Especially because this woman I went to, she was in Queens, like she was like a trek. I had to get completely naked, and like I remember, like I'm glad my friend who recommended her told me that. And you're in her living room, by the way. This is like an old lady in Queens. My favorite part about this massage lady, by the way, and I went to her for like 2 years, absolutely amazing. The only reason I stopped is it was just too far away. Also, she would try to like convert like me and my friends.
To what?
Like she was extremely Christian, and so like she might be like she's like massaging you and being like, oh, so you have a boyfriend, I hope he doesn't sleep over, like like
what?
And she would tell stories about like
I would find that insanely.
She oddly had like a great sense of humor, and I felt like I could be like open with her, and she was amazing at what she did, but there would just be these very Christian backhanded
No, I would hate that.
Or she would like tell a story about like a niece, and it would be like a little bit where like just judging her for something non-Christian. You're just like, ooh, I hope she never gets to know my lifestyle.
That's awful. She's like massaging and going, Robin went to med school. She's going to be a doctor soon. And if she
85 to 90% of the massage was either pleasant, nice conversation and or silent and decent enough. And like me and Carmen, there was a couple of us, I think it was our friend Kyle who recommended. So me and Carmen, a couple other people went to her. There was always some funny story. Or like Carmen, she had to go into the city after the massage and the woman's like, oh, I have to go in the city. She drove her and then she got to know her too well. And she was like, I don't know if I could go back to her. like it was just like, you just find out. And you're like, you're literally laying on a table in this woman's living room. So you already kind of have this like old lady vibe to it. And I liked her. The only reason, and then I started going to Justin's massage person, and I don't have to be converted or feel bad about my life choices. And he's more of an Eastern medicine guy, which I've always kind of really liked. And like she always did a really good, she would always because you know me with my heavy backpacks, whenever I would leave she would pick up my backpack and she's like, this is why you come to me. Why is this so heavy? Why? But I was like, all right, you're making money off my stupidity, just let me have my heavy backpack. He's much more expensive, but I feel like real talk, I could be like, this is the problem. He's like, I got you. The other thing you should know is that I'm always in pain. Like they're not comfortable for multiple reasons. I don't really like being touched, and then I'm already in pain, and then it's an even more painful experience. Now, the benefit is that I always feel better afterwards, but it's an hour of me like gripping a table, being like, fucking Michael, like just yelling at Michael. He's like, you okay? And I was like, I don't like you. But I know he's getting a knot out or doing whatever he's doing.
There are so many, it's so hard to get a massage perfectly because it's either too light and you're not feeling anything or any benefits, or too hard and you're like strained the whole time. And you're like, don't they notice that I'm just like totally tense. Completely tense. One woman got it. The last massage I got, she got it perfect. She found all of the knots or whatever, exactly where I needed on my back. I didn't have to say anything. I don't like talking during massages, and she just fucking knew. There was right pressure. It didn't hurt, but it was getting in there, and like it wasn't too light. And it was like the kind of massage to that perfect point where you can just go, oh yeah, that's you know what I mean? You just become dumb. And I don't know what happened, but somebody came in to say something, which already it's like, what? And then then they were having an exchange back and forth, and then she left the room, and then a new person came in.
No, and I would flip the fuck out.
I was so like, what? And she was so bad. I don't even think she was a masseuse. I don't know who this woman was.
She wasn't
doing anything. Exactly. She wasn't doing anything. And I am going to make it a point to bring up Friends every podcast. But there was an episode where Ross had to cover for Phoebe, and like he had like a spatula, like wooden spatulas and utensils that he was like massaging this really big, ugly, hairy man with. Yeah. It just felt like that's what she was doing. Like it just felt like a joke. She was getting it like I was trying to point to where I wanted massaged on my back, and she just wasn't listening, and it wasn't the same. And I was like, I'm sorry, you need to bring her back. And she's like, oh, she had like another client, they said. And I
was her client.
I never know when a massage parlor is a massage parlor or a massage parlor. You know what I mean? Like I never know the difference, but like, so I don't know why this client took precedent. I was like, get her back. So they had to leave the room again. Then she comes back in. And that's when I noticed she had a really beautiful dress on. And she had a really beautiful dress on the whole, like from the start. I just never noticed it. And then I was like, oh my God, is this woman going out for like her anniversary dinner or like a date? And then she was hey husband, I have another half an hour I have to do.
How would she not know before? First of all, having a trade-off in the middle, I couldn't handle. Like, so I think my biggest issue again goes to like touch and anxiety, which is like, the reason I've gotten slightly better is because I had this one lady for a couple of years, and now I've been touched by Michael. I don't know how to say this, but like I now have gotten to know these two characters that there's a trust there. So I don't feel vulnerable. I have a dialogue. I know who they are. Nothing bad has ever happened. Like I have so much worry and anxiety, and that is an uncomfortable situation, and I'm in pain, and I'm spending money I don't have. The few times I've done miscellaneous massages when we've gotten it done, I forget where else I've gotten it done, I feel like a number, and like talking makes me feel less like I'm paying. It's almost like, you know, when you see somebody getting their shoes shined at the airport, and you're like, I know that that's their business. They have a business, they need people to come, and that's how they make money. But there's always this like that dichotomy of like a dude in a suit getting the guy on his knee and he's shining his shoes, and you're like, I don't want people to shine my shoes. Like I don't want people to serve me like that. Like, at least in a restaurant, I could be like, hey, how are you? Oh, thanks so much, Kyle. I appreciate it. Like, so the same thing with kind of a massage thing is you go in and it's like, they don't talk to you. They kind of do this job silently. You throw money at them. Like, it just feels, even when it's nothing shady is happening, it feels shady to me. And it feels uncomfortable. And I know that's my perspective.
Well,
but
I mean, you're basically naked on a table with a stranger and they're touching you. So of course it feels shady. It just isn't. But I get the instinct to talk, so that it just becomes the more, like, it almost feels like the more silent it is, the more sexual it is or something.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I do also, that with,
again, somebody's doing something for me. I'm paying somebody to do something for me, and I just feel bad. I know, like,
Jesus, you're like Johnny. Johnny doesn't like going out to eat because he doesn't like the power dynamic with the server. Like, he just doesn't like being served.
Yeah, it feels shitty.
I love it.
You're like, I love it. I love royalty.
I love sitting and things being brought to me. It's not necessarily like I don't like having power over someone else, but I like things in my
you're
life.
Lazy. Yeah, no, I get it.
Well, yeah.
You're so mad.
Such a mean way to put it.
You're so mad when I said that. Sorry. Can I list some of the things, because I Googled some stuff, like some of the questions kind of made me laugh. Like, this is like, I was looking up like, benefits of massage therapy, and it had just like Google questions, and it kind of like, one of them was, does a full body massage include private parts? Okay, buddy. And the answer is yes. Like, the answer is actually yes. And that also includes hair, head, eyes, ears, and chin.
I've had my butt massaged without.
Butt massages feel amazing.
Without, like, I didn't like ask for. I feel like, generally speaking, if you don't ask for it, they shouldn't go there.
Yeah, I guess the problem is because, like, I know from lower back pain and hip pain, that is your butt. So, like, we're talking more the side of the butt, but your butt, it needs to be punched a little bit. I feel like such a mom right now. Just a little bit of punching. Another question is, can you touch a massage therapist? And it was like,
no, what?
Like, who would even think that? Basically, they said, unless you're having a heart attack, no, you cannot touch a massage therapist.
I saw a guy on his way out of his massage kiss the massage therapist on the cheek goodbye. And I was like, no, okay. You wouldn't do that to your doctor. You wouldn't do it to
You wouldn't do that to your bus driver. Don't be fucking doing it to your massage therapist.
Absolutely not.
That makes me crazy. This was interesting. Are happy endings only illegal in the US? And the answer is like, yes, they're illegal in the US. But then this is my favorite part, is they're like, but they aren't illegal in Australia and other places. And I was like, why did we just throw Australia under the bus? They basically were like, you can do it in Australia.
Or is that like a tourism thing? Under the bus?
They're just like, we have kangaroos and happy endings. That is also my other worry, is like, it sounds so dumb, but I'm always scared that, like, if I did walk into one of those street massage things, this is where Yelp is like, is this real? Am I like a stupid girl walking in and then I'm going to get this fake massage and she's not going to know what to do with me because they've never intended to actually massage me?
Well, I've been to, like, almost exclusively those places, and they usually know what they're doing. They usually know how to actually massage. There was only one I went to in San Francisco that I was like, I shouldn't be here.
It's just
they didn't even have, they didn't even have towels. They had paper towels. So she wiped me off with a paper towel, and I was like, I'm in the wrong place.
How was the massage?
It was terrible. The whole experience was terrible. It wasn't relaxing.
It
wasn't there.
To do with vaginas. But I guess legally they can't turn you away, because what if you're a cop, right?
I mean, So, but that was like one experience. And Allie and I used to go to massage like places. Like, there was an open mic in LA at the hotel. I forget what it's called, but there was a massage parlor right across the street. We used to go there fucking every week. Just like, we were always getting like really super late massages, totally like not happy ending massages, but we just love massage. She's the only friend I've had that like massages as much as I do. What if she was getting a happy ending and I just didn't know?
Do they do that for women?
Probably.
Yeah, I guess.
That would be a Google. I mean,
do women get happy endings? Can we ever be happy? Like, I just feel like it's too much work for us.
I think there must be some equivalent.
While you're Googling that, I thought it was interesting that they said the first 5 years of being a masseuse are the hardest, because people have to get used to like the physical demand of it. I've always thought that. Like, I've played, this is the dumbest thing I'm going to say. I've played, like, I don't play video games very often, but always during like the holidays, I'll play video games with my siblings. And after like 2 games of Mario Kart, like, I just feel like my fingers are broken. I was like, guys, I need a break. Like, I've played too hard. No,
No, but
not
I get
related.
that. I get that. I mean, like I think about that too, and like just energy work. I used to intern at like a spiritual bookstore, and there was a lot of Reiki and shiatsu and stuff, and just energy work takes a lot out of you. And that wasn't even like shiatsu. They don't even, or is it Reiki? One of them, they don't even touch you. They just kind of hover above you and fuck with the energy around you, and that'll make you tired.
Yeah. So I looked up what all the different types of massages there are. There's Swedish, which I feel like that's the one you always hear of. Like they basically says it's ideal for like first time massage people.
Yeah, like Swedish is supposed to be the relaxing one that I don't want. The one they're just kind of touching you.
Yeah, no, I don't need somebody like grazing against me. Hot stone massage, which I don't think I've ever done. Aromatherapy massage, deep tissue massage, which I would think is
that's what I get.
I mean, yeah. Sports massage, which I should have looked into more. I was just like, do you have to be an athlete to get that? I feel like some of what I'm getting is probably sports massage. Trigger point massage, reflexology, shiatsu. Thank you. That was like a dog. Thai massage, which I think we got Thai massages together.
I like Thai massage. You and I did?
Yeah.
They like move your limbs.
Yes.
Yeah, I love Thai massages.
There's prenatal, which I was like, okay. And then this makes me laugh. They said couples and chair. And I was like, why do we have like, first of all, couples massage? Like, what are we just holding hands? Like, how is that a type of massage that you're in a room with somebody else and you're probably getting married? I don't know. And then chair massage. I mean, we're just talking about people at the mall. Like, how is that a form of massage?
Because it's still a back massage.
It feels like it's one of the other massages, but you're just a little more upright and you're paying per 10 minutes. And you're going to jump on a plane.
Yeah, well, it sounds like whoever wrote that list just looked on a menu at a massage place.
Yeah, and then idiot me was like, I was in the middle of writing this list. And I was like, oh, this is pretty good. And then I was like, chair. I think I just got swindled.
There's foot.
I don't super specific.
I've never done the aromatherapy one. I don't know what that is, but I would be interested to find out.
Aromatherapy massages are best for people who want to have an emotional healing component to their massage. This type of massage can help boost your mood, reduce stress and anxiety, reduce symptoms of depression, relieve muscle tension, relieve pain. Sounds nice. Aromatherapy massages combine soft and gentle pressure with the use of essential oils. Your massage therapist will usually decide which oils to use, but you can let them know if you have a preference. Diluted to apply to your skin. You're given a full body massage while inhaling. Okay. I mean, it sounds nice. Hopefully you like the fragrances or whatever.
It sounds useless to me.
Yeah. Again, there's a part of me, and I don't know if this is like, because like I said, my broken car analogy, because I'm always going in when something's wrong as opposed to it just being a relaxing. But you know how like every like athlete, they do a game and the next thing you know, they're like, have ice on them and then there's somebody like massaging them. Like, I get that they're putting their body through a lot of wear and tear and that they just have to heal faster to get ready for their job to do a game. Who knows when next. But at the same time, like I always have that fantasy, like how nice it would be to just have somebody on retainer. And as somebody that's run marathons and done CrossFit and has always been very athletic, to just, before it gets so bad that I'm in pain, to just have somebody always kind of being like getting it before it breaks down.
Yeah. I mean, well, that would be the life, wouldn't it? But if we ever lived together and we were that rich, I would always, you know how like there's like, do you ever have
doing couples massages, just holding each other's hands?
We'd have to get two of them.
We've made it. Can that be a Patreon tier? Help Liz and Maria get their weekly couples massage, which includes me flying to London.
I know. Yeah. Do you use the massage chairs when you get pedicures and stuff?
I've gotten a pedicure twice, and no.
What?
Again, I don't like people touching me. I've gotten my nails done. I got my nails done for my special last year and Emily's wedding earlier that year. And that was 2 last year. And that was a big deal. And then Justin, like the first year of dating, got me a pedicure manicure. Again, that's a servant thing. I don't like it. It's high cost. I can do it myself. Again, it sounds weird, but if I had a relationship where I'm just like, oh, that's Susie, and like, you know, get me the regular Susie, and how are your kids? And like, I don't know why it has to be like a Cheers like relationship with my bartender. I just pictured
us going to get mani-pedis together, and you're like, how are your kids, Suze? And she's like, who's Susie? What are you talking about?
Her name's Rebecca, but I'm like, hey.
Stop shooting
the New York Times crossword puzzle, and they're like, who does what? Okay.
She's weird.
Yeah, I have such anxiety with new people that it's like the first time I go to somebody, you know, make it a relationship, go a couple of times, and then I still have anxiety leading up to it. But like,
what happens to you in your body and your brain when somebody you don't know goes in for a hug? Are you going, ah?
Kind of. I will say this. I think my face, I don't know this for a fact because I can't see my face. I think my face, I think I fight my face, which is like, oh, we're doing this. like, have you ever had, like, when somebody goes, hey, and they know your name and they know more about you, and you're the whole time are going, do I know this person? How do they know so much about me? Fuck. Did we go to high school together? Oh, da, da, da. And then they'll be like, remember when I met you at the, and you're like, thank God you're filling in the blanks, because like my eyes are so big that I think people see me go, yes, like they my whole thoughts inside my head. Yeah, truly. So because I have a bad memory, because that kind of stuff causes me so much anxiety, and because I'm a horrible liar, and then people can see it, and I've gotten better at being like, I just don't remember, I'm really sorry, like, but you do start to feel bad, like you feel terrible. But like, yeah, when somebody goes in for a hug and I don't know them very well, I think there is a part of me that pulls away. Like I'll pull and do a side because that's more comfortable for me. So like if somebody's like this, I'll be like, and I'll do that side situation. And then I think I'm in my head being like, don't look scared. Like, I think that's.
I did the Stand Up for Beirut show, and, it's COVID regulated. They had everybody spread out. And as a performer, you can avoid the crowd easier because you can just be in the back in the green room or just away from people. But this one person who had seen me before at shows, he's been to a few of my shows, and he came up to me and, to my surprise, went in for the cheek kiss.
Oh, hello, Europe.
What the fuck?
During a pandemic. Oh God.
What do you think all this is about? Why do you think these chairs are spread out like this, and people are wearing masks, and you have to like fucking sign in with your, what do you think is happening right now that you thought it was okay to just come up and give me the kiss of fucking death? I was so stunned by it that he went on to like, so how have you been? I just was like,
like truly, like you just got molested and you're just like, oh, should I tell the authorities? Oh, you know, it's kind of funny. I have a couple of comics at these shows that go in for the handshake, and I go, hi. Like right. Cause you're a little bit like, hey man, we're doing our best not to touch people. Like it's an elbow thing or nothing.
I mean, I can't tell you how many people have been like, do we shake? Do we, bring it in? And I'm just, bring it in is so like, oh, come on, we're friends. This is stupid. This whole thing's made up
my
anyway.
COVID is your COVID. But I think I even said it earlier on, like my favorite thing has been the lack of greeting that we're allowed to do now, because that was always so stressful for me.
Yeah.
I feel like we should say some benefits of massage. I mean, I do want to say this, like what sucks about, I think, massage therapy is we all know it's just fucking expensive. And like, I'm not saying it shouldn't be expensive, because I think, it's a lot of training, and also it's like I said, it's hard on the massage therapist, but it's time consuming because it can be 60 to 90 minutes. It's expensive. The intimacy, which we've clearly talked too much about. Accidental injury, I guess if somebody isn't experienced, that can cause, clearly like somebody's trying to make things better and they, hit something they're supposed to. The other thing it said was unintentional after effects. And I was like, you're not going to even explain that? What, like you fall in love with your massage therapist? What are accidental?
Yeah. You have an acid flashback? Like, what does that mean?
You hit that pressure point that you're like, I was bullied in high school. Like,
it sounds like a bad dating thing. Like, dating her was fine. It was the unintentional after effects that I couldn't deal with.
Exactly, 100%. And then the benefits: reduce anxiety, stress, headaches, pain, which can increase blood flow, circulation, range of motion in your joints, happier moods, and a sense of feeling lighter, which I'm happy for the blood flow. I think you're the sense of feeling lighter. Like mine is just like, my blood flow is great. And you're just like, da, 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 da. You jump up, tap your feet. You're like, that was a great day.
No, actually, I feel really exhausted after a massage, but like I was just so relaxed. I've been close to falling asleep. I haven't quite fallen asleep on massages, but like just it's like, but I've gotten a massage before shows, and it's just such a bad idea because you're a bit out of it.
Oh yeah, you're like in a fog.
And they tell you to drink lots of water and stuff, and I'm not sure. Like, do you believe in toxins? Do you believe that there's like toxins that are being flushed out of your system?
I don't know. I don't think it's the way like those infomercials where you put like pads on your feet and then your feet, like the little pads are black and like toxins came out of your feet. Like, I don't believe that crap. I do believe that things get moved around and loosened. And I do believe somebody can like pressure point you and find your childhood and start making you cry.
Oh my God, my friend Nick Elleray had the funniest joke about that. I'll probably have to edit this out because I'm not gonna. But he's like, I don't want a massage. I don't want somebody unlocking the baggage that I've had locked. So like, and the way he put it was like unlocking.
Yeah, I do kind of feel that way though. That they'll just like they'll be like, and you'll be like, oh no. I never talked to my mom that way before.
And then for me, I'm just like, there was nothing in there. La da 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 da.
I don't feel my feelings. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, I think we did something. So we would love for you to write to us. We would love to hear what massages have been beneficial to you, especially of the list that we gave, like which ones have kind of like changed the game for you. Which ones you think are just garbage? I would love to know people being like, this type of massage is garbage.
Are you a female who's had a happy ending?
Oh yeah. Don't give details. Just let us know.
I want to know like the conversation.
The WAP song.
How do you get into?
I don't want to know that. You can write us at 2nondoctors@gmail.com. That's 2 non full word doctors@gmail.com. And thank you. Thanks for listening.
Thanks. Bye.